Toastmasters on the call. My name is Gerald Peterson. I'm all the way from the friendly city of Gqeberha. I don't know if we still say it like that because it used to be the friendly city of PE. So I'm not sure if because the name already sounds like you want to engage in a fight, but I can definitely tell you that Gqeberha is not a swear word. So I am from the Toastmasters club called ACT down in Gqeberha, and we basically meet every first and third Thursday of the month. Estelle mentioned that this is some sort of a support group just to help you navigate the space of Toastmasters. And immediately I thought of the venue where we meet. So if you come into the venue and you continue straight, you get to the ACT Toastmasters Club where we meet. But in that very same venue, if you continue and turn to your left, it's the AA Supporters Club meeting. So you can imagine without any signage on the doors as to where Toastmasters is in the AA meeting, you find yourself sitting in the AA meeting. 5 minutes later, someone stands up and say, "Hi, my name is Gerald and I'm an alcoholic." It would be at that very moment that you would know that you are definitely in the wrong meeting. So I just want to tell everyone on this call that regardless of what your need is, you're definitely not at the wrong place. So for the session this evening, I had quite a bit of discussions with Estelle as to how we're going to roll this out and what the format of this would be. And I think the base foundation or the objective of this meeting is to just outline that we have a lot of people join Toastmasters. And I was actually shocked when Daniel spoke earlier, where he mentioned that he joined Toastmasters and suddenly he was on the exco of his club. We have a lot of situations where people join Toastmasters because they want to become better speakers. And they find out how daunting Toastmasters actually is. 5 years later, I can tell you, if I get to the second leg of the club competitions or the area competition, I still feel like I'm going to have nightmares that whole week of competition. So the idea behind these meetings is to offer some sort of a support and have a conversation really around what some of the challenges are, perhaps the reasons you joined Toastmasters. And instead of going through a structured presentation of 37 slides, really just talk to the points which stands out for everyone on the school this evening. So what I would like us to do is tell, we have some sort of an agenda, but instead of throwing that out at you, Estelle has put together a poll just to find out from you what it is that you would like to know more of. So what we're going to do is based on the answers of this poll, we're going to select the top 3 elements to just talk through and engage with you as new and prospective members. And then right after that, if there's any other burning questions, we're going to help you navigate through the process of just being part of Toastmasters. So there's literally just one question which you need to choose a particular option from. It says on what do you need more information? So when it comes to Toastmasters, you've selected what your goals are, but you're not really very clear, or you've been pushed into a club role, or you want to understand how you can gain leadership skills in terms of these club roles. The biggest one is understanding the pathways. You've heard there's something called mentoring, but you don't really know what that is about. What are the leadership opportunities in Toastmasters? And then finally, what would be your next steps in terms of growing outside of Toastmasters? Estella, I just want to check with that about a 52% response rate. So if you haven't if you haven't responded yet, you're welcome to just click. I think when we get to 80, Estelle, not to keep anyone up. When we hit 80%, I think maybe we can call it and then just take it from there. Also, if there's an item that's perhaps not on the agenda, on the list, I would like you just to pop it in the chats. Or if you came with a burning question around Toastmasters or really just understanding how to navigate the process, speeches, all of that, chat to us. If you don't have a mentor at the moment, Estelle, I think perhaps there's something that people can, if they want to direct message yourself or me, then we can just speak to your clubs or find out from the district how we can deal with it. So we're waiting for about 8 more votes. I hope this is not a reflection of the elections we had earlier this year in terms of people's walking to the polls for the national elections.
Sorry,
We are
Gerald,
currently on 70%.
while we are waiting, we are at 70%. There's a question in the chat about speech contest. Would you like to answer or would you like me to answer?
Estelle, I can definitely add on to your response.
Good. Wonder you should teach my husband how to speak. That's a great answer. So speech contests start, most clubs do it in January, but a lot of clubs do it this year already so that people have enough time to practice. So when January comes and it's area contests and division contests, they have that down. So I know Granny B suggest that which for the guys, Gerald, I know of 2 people who joined Toastmasters today. So we have a district director, her name is Granny B, and she said maybe we should try and do a speech contest in November. But it's totally up to your club. You speak to your club and they will give you more info on that, Daniel. Gerald?
So yeah, just to the broader community in terms of what a speech contest is, when you join Toastmasters, your core development in terms of your speaking abilities by means of standing in front of a group, be it online or in person, and delivering a prepared speech. And I see the poll suggests that we're going to start speaking about pathways. So that's where we'll talk about prepared speeches. But when you deliver the speech, you have an evaluator, which basically gives you a bit of feedback in terms of what you've done very well in the speech, areas where you can improve, and then there's just how they challenge you. So when you get to level 2 on your pathway, you then have the opportunity to participate in what we as Toastmasters call a speech contest. And the speech contest has got 4 levels. So the first level is where you compete amongst your club members at your club level. So you have the ability to render a speech, and then there's an independent judge that's going to score you and not give feedback. And the chairperson of the day will then announce the winners. Should you then be in the top 2 or top 3, depending on what the rules say, you will go through to area level. Area level is where 4 more clubs compete against each other. After that, you get district level, division level, and the very last level, the 5th one, which I didn't mention, is then the international speech contest, where you speak against everyone else in the world that has made it to that level. So when it says Toastmasters International, it actually is international. But we can chat a bit more about speech contests when we unpack pathways. There's 3 levels of the competitions. It's evaluations, table topics, as well as prepared speeches. So Estelle, just in terms of the poll, we are...
So I'm going to call it, so it's 5 minutes. We've had a poll open now for 5 minutes and 40 seconds. So I'm going to end the poll so that we can see the top 3 that we can discuss tonight. Correct. Are you able to see it, Gabrielle? Perfect, so you can see it. So, Gerald, it looks like our very first one is understanding pathways.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You can stop sharing. So I just want to check in with the members, and you're welcome to either raise your hand or just quickly share in the chat. So let's have an engagement for like 1 to 2 minutes. When you hear pathways, what comes to mind? If there's anyone that want to, so this is like your test your knowledge type of section. So if there's anyone that would like to share what they understand in terms of pathways in the context of Toastmasters, what do you understand? Yolanda. Yolanda, sorry.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
So my understanding of pathways would be the route that you would take to get to your goal.
Okay, the route that you get to your goal.
The route you would take to get to your goal.
Okay. Anyone else? Choosing which area you want to grow in. Thank you so much, Tandy. Esther also highlights goals, a curriculum or learning path to gain skills. Lillian,
Hi, I want to ask, I know that Pathways has changed. Can you just give us an update on the new paths that are available? Because I'm VPE and I'm still not sure. Thanks.
awesome. Thank you so much. So, towards the end of our conversation around pathways, we will then just touch on that as well. So, memory says that pathways is your journey. So, still, I really don't understand why we're doing this training if everyone that's in the chats and that shared with us is on point. So, I think I just literally want to add on what was said. If you don't mind sharing the slides, Estelle, and we'll go to the section of pathways. So, once you register as a Toastmaster, you get access to the Toastmasters International website. You have a member number which you will then use to log in to the website. So you register using your email address as well as your member number. Then it takes you to a whole lot of information that again becomes incredibly overwhelming. But there's a particular section, a tab on the website that says pathways. And the nice thing about pathways is that it gives you an opportunity to select which pathway you want to choose. As was said by Pink, it's a curriculum or a learning path. And previously on Toastmasters, there was 11 different pathways. So at the moment, so I think off the back, we basically answered that question. So at the moment, there's 6 unique paths that you can choose from. So in order for you to select a path, it's either one of two options. You read the outline of what is offered in that learning, or you basically go to an assessment where you answer about 30 to 40 questions, and then they will highlight the top 3 paths that you would be able to then go into. The 6 parts currently on Toastmasters is dynamic leadership, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery, and the final one is visionary communication. Each of these pathways has 5 levels. Please, members on the call, as I'm chatting, if there's any questions that comes up, please just pop it in the chat, and we will deal with the questions as we go through the particular section that we'll talk about. So each of these levels, it's almost like you are graded and you basically go higher up in your speaking career, if I can say so. On level 1, you basically get the icebreaker speech. And the purpose of an icebreaker speech, as what the evaluator will look at, is for the member to introduce themselves and to share some interesting things about themselves. This speech is 4 to 6 minutes, after which the member will receive evaluation from an evaluator. The different pathways have got a number of projects in them to help you grow and develop. So it may be 4, it may be 3. And when I say project, every single project ties back to a speaking opportunity. So online on the pathways tab on the Toastmasters website, you have almost what I can refer to as an e-learning module where you have to go through 20 or 30 slides. There's short videos in there, and that's where the real learning takes place. And what I appreciate about every single module or element on Pathways is that you have a pre-assessment, really just to check your understanding about either communication, mentoring, building relationships, and then they take you through the learning process. And once you are done with it, then you have a post-evaluation that really determines what you have learned through that process. The main skills as highlighted on the slide that you'll build is public speaking, interpersonal communication, management or leadership skills. And I think Daniel is part of that, where he's literally learning more in terms of his leadership. Then additional skills is strategic leadership, and then conflict resolution. If there's any vice presidents of education on the call, you will definitely know that conflict is one of the elements that sort of stands out significantly in your development as a Toastmaster. The pathway of engaging humor, the main skills is public speaking. And the nice thing, once you get to level 3, it helps you to build social skills as well. Sorry, social public speaking skills. If you have to do a toast at a wedding, if you have to do a speech at a wedding, or in there is also if you have to prepare a eulogy. So when I did a eulogy, I thought it's going to be so creepy if I speak about the eulogy I delivered at my dad's passing. It's going to be very weird. So I decided to do a eulogy on the poem John Donne, Death Be Not Proud. So I just shared my memories on the life of death, which I think was really a dichotomy in that perspective. So that is engaging humor. The next one in motivational strategies, the key elements here is again public speaking, interpersonal communication, management. Additional skills is motivational leadership and motivational communication. So your more elective type skills is basically what you start learning from level 4 and level 5, where it becomes a bit more technical. And members may ask, how does these levels work? So essentially, at every meeting opportunity, whether it's at your club or at a different club, wherever you deliver a prepared speech, that takes you closer to complete a particular level. After each level, you get a certificate of completion as well. So I think that really just helps to encourage and motivate the members. You will also find that once you get to level 4 and level 5, for a particular project or module, you will sometimes have to deliver 2 speeches. The first one, where you have to introduce the topic that you will speak about. And then the second one would be for you to unpack the topic that you spoke about. Then the next pathway is persuasive influence. Key skills here that you will learn is public speaking, management, interpersonal communication, and leading in complex situations. I just want to pause here for a moment and see to Tandi's question. Tandi says, I have completed the icebreaker project and have gone through the module, but it's still marked as work in progress. How do I get it marked complete? Estelle, just to give the throat a rest, I'm going to answer or add on to your response.
Right.
I'm learning.
Thank you so much. That is helping. I hope some of the people who have been Toastmasters for 4 years are learning something new. So Tandi, what happens is when you're done with your level 1, have you ever been to base camp? Let me ask this first. Tandi, have you ever been to your base camp?
Yes, I have.
Right.
That's where I did the module.
Okay, great. So that's where you have. So after you finish speaking, when you go back to Basecamp and you open that icebreaker again in Basecamp, you need to go to click all the way to the end, and then you need to complete your after speech questionnaire. So after you've completed that, then click all the way until you have a screen that says congratulations. That's it.
Okay.
That's all what you have to do until you receive. Just click until you have congratulations. That's it.
Okay, I'll try again.
Okay.
I thought I was clicking until there was no further arrow.
Okay, click until it says
And I didn't get
congratulations, and then you go back to Basecamp. If it still doesn't work, I'm gonna give you my cell phone number.
Okay.
Let me know
Yeah.
what happens, and then
All
we
right.
can take it from there.
Thank you
So-
very much.
Thank you
Perfect.
so much, Estelle. And Tandy, once you get to that point, you then basically would get an email to the registered email address where you have to do one final evaluation on the project itself.
Okay.
Once you do that evaluation, it's really just clicking how the project assisted you or helped you in applying those skills. Once you submit that, an email will then go to your vice president education. They then have to log into Basecamp and then also sort of like sign you off on that particular module as well. I think, Estelle, that mostly happens at the end of the level.
Okay. All right. No, thank you very much. That's helpful. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
I see that there you show is that the error that you get in the when you go into the site?
No, that's
That's
me. It's
stable.
not. Yeah.
Okay. So what we can do, Estelle, I don't know if you would have time, at 7 when we end this meeting, if you have time, if there's anyone that's got technical challenges, or as in Tandi's case, or we can possibly just stay on for about 15 minutes or so to see if we can assist them sharing screen, and we navigate through that process. Back to the presentation. What I would suggest for those members on call that has not selected a pathway as yet, do yourself a favor and do the questionnaire or the survey. What it does is it sort of asks you a lot of technical questions in terms of your growth areas, where your focus points are, also what your goals would be in terms of Toastmasters. And then I'm not sure what the 6 pathways available currently, if it gives you the top 3 options. To further select which option you want, I don't know if it says read more, or what does it says, but it sort of gives you just a brief outline of, as the slide does at the moment, main skills and additional skills. So that sort of gives you a different perspective in terms of what particularly you want to grow in and how the pathway is going to help you to do so. The next pathway on offer is presentation mastery. So really this one focuses on building your presentation skills. And I think for everyone on the call, you can actually note that some of the other pathways includes what is covered in this particular pathway. So if you want to excel growth, I would recommend choose a pathway that's got more than one element involved. I'm not sure if there's a last one. Yes, visionary communication. This again includes public speaking, management, interpersonal communication, and then innovative communication as well as leadership. This was one of my first pathways, and I think that I possibly jumped in too deep in Toastmasters because this is where exceptional development for myself took place, where I had to prepare presentations to management. I had to prepare persuasive conversation to a friend, sort of like win them over. So this is really an opportunity for one that's in a leadership role in the work environment to sort of then go into this particular pathway. And again, Estelle, you're welcome to drop my number on the call as well. If any of the new members would like to sort of just get some insights in terms of how to navigate through these pathways or how to sort of connect with their speeches, even if you haven't done a speech yet, or your club is always full in terms of people delivering speeches, you are currently on a call with 55, including myself and Estelle, 57 different people, where you can ask them if they have online meetings, join their online meetings, speak there. What I would like to encourage the members is if you do go and speak at a different club, please just inform your VPE. They need to have an account of it. And when you get your evaluation form back, that sort of serves as proof to highlight that you have then done the speech at a different club. So that really is just the outline of pathways. There is a full presentation. I don't know if you have access to it, which literally takes you to, this is the website when you type in toastmasters.org. Once you put in your login details, the very next slide that pops up. So the presentation on pathways takes you through every single slide in terms of how to navigate through the pathway. So again, if there's a few members on this call that would like to have that information, I'm sure you've got Estelle's details to say, can we please go into detail with pathways? Then we can have a practical demonstration where Estelle shares a screen or I share my screen and we take you through that process. The idea with these support groups like the AA is that we do this once a month. And as we continue on this journey, we want to focus on a particular development area. Ms. Stella has also shared the WhatsApp group, which we have probably about 40 when it comes to Toastmasters, that you can join if you would like to pose your questions and all of it. So I think between myself and Estelle, we won't fulfill the role of mentors, but we will definitely have a once-off engagement with you to sort of deal with a particular issue. Better yet, if there's 5 or more members that's sitting with the same challenge, then it sort of just reduces our time and engagement in that particular section. I just want to ask before we continue and go over to mentoring, I want to ask Estelle if there's any members that perhaps want to raise their hand or there is any particular questions when it comes to pathways.
Michael says he knows absolutely everything. There's nothing we can teach him about that.
Well done, Michael. Michael
Well
should join
done,
out.
Michael. He didn't join for this. Anna, do you have any questions? You're brand new.
I think I should first go onto the website the moment I've registered, and then I'll navigate myself through the pathways as Gerald explained. And I think after that, I may have questions. Then I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Great stuff. You're more than welcome to just go in the WhatsApp group and just type in, I'm here, what now?
Okay.
Then we can take a screenshot to tell you how to choose a path, where to go, how to do the questionnaire, anything like that that you might need.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Todd.
Yes, I've got a question. So for the different pathways, I understand they have this, well, they're made up of the core modules like public speaking, all of that. So for example, if you complete one of the pathways, presentation mastery, which is mainly public speaking, then you choose a new pathway, which incorporates that component. Do you basically redo it, or does it take into account that you've kind of completed that core module? How does it work?
That's a great question. Gerald, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, I would definitely love to answer that. I fought with my VPE to sort of like say, but why must I do an icebreaker again? I was frustrated. I thought it's a waste of my time until such point where I sat down and prepared my icebreaker and realized that from the time I did my icebreaker to my new pathway, about 15 new members joined the club, firstly. Secondly, I became a father in that process. And then the third element is that I'm an avid runner at the moment. So I grew in that process when I basically, since I did my first icebreaker. So then I realized I have redeveloped and rediscovered myself, which gives an opportunity for me to reintroduce myself to the group. And it's also it was a very reflective process. And Todd, I tell you, since February this year, I've learned not to fight with my VPE anymore. So that's a very valid question. Todd highlights that level 1 and sometimes in level 2, there's elements that's repeated. So give an example in level 2, communication strategy is repeated as well as understanding mentoring. And another example for me is I'm a mentor at the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation. And what is different for me this year is that I'm mentoring someone that is also a mentor through their process. So again, from that perspective, Todd, the learning that I'm gaining in this process really adds more value to when I have to deliver a different speech. I think that's essentially what I've seen from that perspective.
Does that
Thanks
answer
for
you?
the explanation.
Thank you.
So you basically, with every level, every new path that you have, level 1 and 2 are basically the same for all the paths. And you get to do it. No, Gerald, you don't have to do it over. You get to do it again. I just to tell everybody, Gerald actually is a runner. He really runs. Nothing's chasing him. He just runs. Don't know who does that, comrades, for what. Mimi, you have a question?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Hello.
Mimi.
Oh, yes, I just want to find out. I've seen on a presentation master, it's only one bulletin. So, meaning it's only public speaking for, is it level 1 until level 5? Because other pathways, they've got plenty of bulletins, meaning you improve on interpersonal communication, etc., etc. So I'm worried about the presentation mastery. It's only one bulletin. Does that mean it doesn't entail much with regards to developing this?
So Mimi, that's a very good question. So from the different competencies, there's about, I think, 7 that's listed across the different pathways. From those competencies, they sort of highlight particularly what a pathway focus on. And you're very right in saying that that's highlighted as such for presentation mastery. What is not said there is some of the technical skills that you will be that you almost said that you get an opportunity to learn, which includes using visual aids when you present. And I think also just a list, even for the other pathways, that is really just high level things that sort of jumps out at you. One of the key things also in presentation mastery that's not listed is networking. One last example on your question is for level 5, one of your electives would be moderate a panel discussion. So even though it is presentation skills that you learn, there's also critical thinking, because some of the questions that comes from the panel is things that you haven't thought of. And sometimes there's intense panel conversations that you sort of put to the table. So that's sort of the extended development that takes place in that process. So yeah, I think, Estelle, maybe that is a slide to look at, because we don't put some of the other technical competencies that
It was only for the purpose of today's presentation, that what bulletin, because I thought to myself, okay, meaning presentation mastery, it doesn't have a lot to learn. So I was so worried too.
So do yourself a favor.
That
last point, Estelle, I want you just to cue the
so that one
element of
bulletin, it
mentoring.
was only for the purpose of this presentation, like today's presentation. The
So
one
Estelle,
bulletin I saw.
as you cue mentoring, Mimi, to your point, do yourself a favor and go onto Basecamp. Once you either do the assessment or open the 6 pathways, you click on read more or view, and there it will sort of unpack the extent to what the development entails. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
So when we speak of mentoring, sorry, there's one more question from Shoni.
Yes, good evening, guys. I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm just in transit. I can't also switch on my camera. I just have a quick question here. my apologies also, I joined in a bit late. This question might have been addressed. How do you move up a level? Do you move up a level when you have completed an entire pathway? Or do you move up a level when you have completed a speech? That's my question.
Tony, thank you so much. There is a good question that has been answered already. So moving on. It's okay. So Shloni, that's definitely a good question. And so each level has about 4 projects. The moment you complete all 4 of those projects, I think as I highlighted earlier, Stel, you'd have to evaluate that level. And then ultimately that's how you then complete and move on to the next level. And again, the encouragement is if you're a very progressive Toastmaster, not that any of us are not, you can speak up to 3 to 4 times per week. On a Tuesday night, there's a meeting in Gaborone online. On a Wednesday evening, there's Sanlam Toastmasters. On a Thursday, there's Vodacom. There's a club in Zambia. And Estelle, my question to you is, we speak about all these club meetings that's online. Where do we get that information?
So there is a lot of information on that. You can either go, are your club on Easy Speak?
So yes, we are. Sorry,
Cool.
It was an open question.
I just want to tell everybody, if you want to visit other clubs, so if your club is on Easy Speak, they have a calendar. You can go to the calendar and you can register to attend their meetings. There's also about 3 WhatsApp groups that constantly advertise their meetings. You're welcome to go there. Or what else you can do is you can go online and find a club. And then that is where you can find out when their meeting times are and register for their meetings. A lot of people are meeting in person. So if you'd like to meet in person, Todd?
So for visiting other clubs, can you just go and join for a session or 2 and not have to join the club and pay the fee?
Absolutely.
So once you belong to one club and you paid your fee, you kind of belong to Toastmasters, and then you can go and visit, basically.
Yes, this is great club in London. I love visiting. I love those guys. I don't know why. I think it's the accent. So I love going to visit them. You can visit people in Malaysia. You can visit people in America if you like to stand up really, really early or really, really late. You can visit, it's Toastmasters International. So anybody, you can visit absolutely anyone. Gabrielle says you can Google Meetup to find clubs as well. Thank you, Gabrielle. You taught us something. Today I learned.
Answer for you, Todd. So instead of just visiting those clubs, you can actually fulfill a role there or deliver speech. So it's literally, once you've paid the joining fee and you're registered for a particular path, you can speak at any given club. And I think, Shawnee, to your question, that's how you can literally finish a level in a month. Should you wish to push your speaking engagement. And I would like to encourage everyone on this call to sort of try and before February next year be done with level 2 so that you can participate in the club and speech competitions. If there's no further questions, we can head over to our second section, which is on mentoring. In a lot of industries, I do know that there's a huge conversation around the difference between coaching and mentoring. And I'm currently doing the 12-week course with UCT on coaching. And another element that came in, I always thought that I'm busy doing coaching, only to find out that I'm actually consulting with people. So that was very scary when you think you're giving people suggestions as to what they can do, then immediately it takes away the coaching element. So when it comes to Toastmasters, the concept of mentoring, Estelle, if you have those slides, is basically very similar to what you would go through in your work environment. You are new in a job, you've done this before at your previous company, but the culture, the ethos, the whole operating systems is different at the new company, then what they would do is assign you to a buddy or a mentor, which literally would walk the path with you. And the significant difference between a mentor and a coach is that a mentor has walked the journey before. I think when it comes to coaching, you need to understand coaching is more principle, methodology, philosophy. That's the basis of coaching, understanding the tools and helping someone navigate through their goals. Where mentoring focuses more on having experienced mentors encourage, guide, and support you in your goals. So the mentor in this case may not have done the exact same pathways you've done, but they've been through the whole spiel of delivering speeches up to level 3, 4, 5. They've done evaluations on different levels, and they've really just been through the whole process of Toastmasters. I don't know if there's a next slide coming.
No, that's the only slide in mentoring
Okay, so
I have, sorry.
So just not a problem. So when it comes to mentoring in Toastmasters in your club, your vice president education, or if they have an elect person that's over mentoring, will assign a more senior Toastmaster to you, which will then serve as your mentor. In level 2, all the pathways, there's a project that deals with mentoring. So it unpacks the difference between coaching and mentoring. It sort of helps you to complete a survey that guides your thoughts around mentoring. And then the project that's tied to that is you having to give feedback on your experience and your journey as a mentee. So it sort of brings it together in the context of you really understanding what mentoring is all about and cementing that with sharing what your thoughts, your process, and your experience was when it comes to mentoring. There's a comment in the chats from Lillian that says there's a WhatsApp group called TM Meetings and Role Adverts. Many clubs advertise there where they've open slots in the meetings. I'm not sure I got onto the club. If someone can post a link in the chat. So perhaps if no one has that link available on this call, then Estelle on that WhatsApp chat group, maybe we can just share that there as well. On Sunday, I was asked by a fellow Toastmaster in Madagascar if I would be open to, they've got about 8 clubs, between 6 and 8 clubs in Madagascar, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the clubs, which is fairly new, asked if they can make use of me as a mentor. They've got a very specific process of selection and pairing that they follow. And I was assigned to mentor someone in our first meeting is this coming Thursday. So I think that also shows that mentoring spreads across the different clubs. It's not confined to a geographical space. It gives you the opportunity to also understand how people are doing it in other clubs as well. So I just want to see by a show of hands, if anyone on this call has been assigned a mentor already, or you've selected a mentor. So just by means of show of hands, then we can sort of just get the feel of the room, Estelle.
So who does not have a mentor?
So who does have a mentor?
Oh, who does not have one?
So Michael, I see your hand is does not.
Okay, Paul's hand is up. Third hand, okay. Who else? Anna? Pinky? Mimi? Oh, the rest of you, everybody else have a mentor, right? Yolanda? Okay, so you guys.
No, I don't. I'm just trying to figure out how to raise my hand here.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the guys raising their hands are the people who have mentors or who don't have mentors, Gerald? Have mentors.
Don't have. I think
Don't
it's
have.
Don't have.
And I just want to with you. You raise your hand. Do you not have a mentor?
Yeah,
I
it's difficult to find this
Okay.
hand, but I also don't have a mentor.
Wait,
Okay.
so if we don't have a mentor, we put up a hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Michael, I was struggling with that. Don't have a mentor is raising hands now. Okay, cool. Sorry, that's my fault.
Okay. So yeah, there's quite a few. I think thank you so much for that. I haven't found a button to lower all hands at the same time. So if you don't mind just lowering your hand again, thank you so much. Estelle, I think that is an area for concern because I believe that mentoring really helps you so much just to like the whole conversation we're having this evening and in the future engagement sessions that we'll have. These are things that on a more personal level, your mentor can sort of just take you through. And I think
So Gerald,
thanks, Todd.
I wonder if you can just tell them how to find a mentor because now we know they don't have. So how
Sure.
do they find? And remember, we have presidents and VPEs and VPMs on this call as well.
So the first one is which I've experienced over the years of being part of Toastmasters is where your VPE would assign a senior. I say senior, it's really just someone that is sort of in level 3 or is past level 2 that understands the flow of Toastmasters and the dynamics thereof. They would assign someone to you to be a mentor. And I just want to state for the purpose of this meeting and also for the members listening in, it doesn't necessarily mean that your mentor will be there for you all the way. So your first 2-3 speeches, your mentor would be there. They would ask you to send your speech to them. They would maybe meet up with you, check in with you. And then after that, the dynamics of the relationship shifts, where the responsibility then goes to the mentee, where if you are struggling with something, you then need to get in touch with your mentor, highlight what the challenge is, and they need to do everything in their power and ability to help you navigate through the challenge that you are facing. So I just want to make that very clear that your mentor is not your crutch. It's someone that's there to support and guide you. And then at a later stage, if you have challenges, you raise your hand and you highlight. I also want to encourage the members that if you do have challenges, you've tried reaching out to the mentors, please speak to Estelle and myself. And I think the reason, Estelle, I put it out there is that if anyone is an area director on the call, there's at some stage an area visit that the area directors needs to conduct. And some of those questions relates to member orientation and really just member experience, which is referred to as moments of truth. So the idea behind that is to give you this experience where I think a lot of people felt comfortable on this call to either raise their hand or to post the question. And that essentially is what we want to do on this journey of you being part of Toastmasters. So thank you so much for that. Is there any other questions related to mentoring before we go over to club meeting roles in the last 7 minutes that we have? Awesome. So I just want to see by means of raising hands in the chat, firstly, how many club meeting roles are there? So just give me a number. So in the chat or wherever you can, how many club meeting roles are there?
Michael has the answer.
Right, so let me follow in the chats. So I've got five coming up, 5's coming up. There's infinite is there. 7, I've got 7. Is there anyone going for 6? Do I have 6? Is there anyone for 4? I was sitting with 6. 5 is the leader currently going once for
Michael
5.
has infinite, so I think he's the winner.
Going twice for 5 and not sold for 5. Not sold for 5. So now what is the real answer? How many club roles? Let's see. Ziad says 7. I don't know if Ziad can mention those 7. Ziad?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry, apologies. I was just struggling with my unmute button. Yeah, no, I can't actually mention all the seven. Tell you the honest truth, I just took a lucky guess.
That was a wild guess.
A
Can you,
wild guess.
Ziad, can you mention two at least?
VP Education. So you have President, VP Education, VP Membership, VP Public Relations. I think, well, you've got the Treasurer, you've got the Sergeant at Arms. We've got that in our club. That's 7 already. Is that 6?
Yeah.
Did I mention Timekeeper, Evaluator? Give me a second. That was 7, right?
Yes, you're on 8 now.
On 8. Okay. Sorry, I'm a bit flustered. That's why I'm here. I'm not used to public speaking. Okay. Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else.
There's an interesting question by Michael. It says he thought we are speaking about club meeting roles. It's a very good question. It's a very interesting question. And I see Memory's got 9 roles. So now Jemina says immediate past president is also a club role. Now it's becoming more confusing. And yeah, I was going to say grammarian.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, like the VPE is a club role, but technically it's not a meeting role. But then you'll have like Toastmaster of the Day, and that would be a meeting role.
Okay.
Could be a club role. I'm not too sure about that.
I can't seem to find a button to raise my hand, so I'm just going to chime in. I also felt a little bit confused in the beginning, whether you were talking about club meeting roles or club leadership roles. So I just took a guess and said 7 plus immediate past president, because it will tell you that I'm talking about club officers.
Okay, so awesome. Thank you so much, Jemina. So to Michael's question, which I think is very important, Estelle, what is the difference, if there is?
So all the Exco, Club Exco that you guys just mentioned, the president and the VPE and everything, it would be great if they attend every club meeting. I would love if they attend every club meeting. They don't always, but as far as club meeting roles goes, it's who is the people that you need in your meeting to have a successful meeting. What all of you guys are speaking about now is a much broader thing of what is the group that you need to have a successful club. So just one meeting is different meeting roles. Would you like me to share the shell, Gerald?
Yeah, yes, please. Thank you, Estelle. So just also to Michael's point, if you think about your vice president education, what you'll find in Estelle, once we have sufficient members that has joined the WhatsApp group, I'm going to share those one-page slides just in terms of the different roles that has to be fulfilled, both before and during the meeting. So what you'll find with regards to club meeting roles, your vice president education does have a very, very specific role also to play during the club meeting. I think particularly of VPM as well. So those would be, Ziad, the ones that you mentioned is very fundamental, but those are more like particularly in terms of your leadership roles. So to Estelle's point, who do you need to make the meeting a success? So obviously the one would be your president. They start out the meeting, they introduce what is referred to as the Toastmaster of the day. And then you have a host of, and I like the response, infinite. You have a host of different people that sort of makes the meeting a success. And again, from the perspective of the area director's visit, these are the different roles then that would make that particular meeting a success. In some meetings, and to Estelle's point of everyone attending the meeting, there is a business section where each of the different executives would speak either about the dues that have to be paid, how much money is in the club. VPM would basically speak about members and how the growth is working in the club. And then we go into these different roles, which I'll, as far as I can, try to just dedicate one sentence, Estelle, to each of these roles. We start out with the Toastmaster of the day, which is also referred to as your MC or your host of the meeting. So he basically navigates the meeting, makes sure that everything goes as it should, and then introduces the different speakers. For the benefit of everyone on the call, on your Toastmasters website, there is scripts for each of these roles that will essentially just help you navigate to understanding the role better. Estelle, I don't think we have enough time maybe to go on to those. The next role is the grammarian. Traditionally, the grammarian's role is to highlight the good use of the language. So right through the run of the meeting, they pick up on good use and how the language is murdered in the process, and then just highlights at the end. And that's essentially how you would learn to better use the English language. I'm just thankful that we don't have a grammarian on this call. What also comes in is that the grammarian would introduce the word of the day. And then the word of the day must be used as much as possible throughout the meeting. Your accountant grammarian at times, if you have few people in the meeting, would fulfill the same role. So this role works on the skill of active listening, evaluation, and providing feedback. And they particularly look for your verbal crutches or your verbal things like your that they pick up through the run of the meeting and then give feedback at the end. Your next role player in that meeting is the timer, which times the prepared speeches between 5 to 7 minutes. For your icebreakers, it's 4 to 6 minutes. For your table topics, it's 1 to 2, and evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes. The importance of having a timekeeper is to ensure that you stick to the allocated time and for the duration of the meeting as well. I believe that this is very, very helpful, especially when you have to do management presentations at work. Make sure that you've learned the concept of managing time and you are able to implement it. And there's also a whole process behind it. One of the fun roles is the table topic speaker. So this person has the task to prepare unprepared speeches for the evening. So they sort of come up with topics, and then through the flow of the meetings, they would introduce these topics, and members can only speak, or rather can only open the topic once the member before them has started speaking. So this is a very nice way to practice your elevator speeches or your impromptu speaking. I think your topics master and your table topics person mostly is the same role. As a speaker, it's someone that has prepared a speech, and they for that evening will be allocated either 4 to 6, 5 to 7, or if it's a longer speech like moderating a panel discussion, between 15 to 20 minutes to have their delivery. They have a very specific evaluation form which they have to print and prepare, bring to the in-person meeting or email for an online meeting, and then the evaluator then gives feedback based on that particular evaluation sheet. Your evaluator then is, as I said, the person that gives feedback based on the evaluation sheet. The sandwich method is preferred. So that's your entry-level evaluation, what the person did good, what they can work on, and you close your evaluation off with essentially just encouraging the person to speak better. So that deals with effective evaluations. And then finally, your general evaluation is really just the person that highlights how the flow of the meeting was, what stood out for them, did the meeting start on time, were visitors greeted. So they are basically the devil's advocate or the critic of the meeting. And the idea behind it is to highlight areas of development. On a larger scale, there is the role that the area director will fulfill once they then visit your club. Some other clubs also have Toast of the Day, so where they would introduce a speaker that deliver a toast for that evening. And I think it goes it goes broader in terms of how clubs develop, how they grow, and really just how creative they become in terms of then basically running through the mull of the meetings. It is now 7:05. I have spent my time quite a bit, so I just want to open, obviously with the permission of the members in Estelle, just an opportunity for questions again on those meeting roles. Again, unlike the other Daniel, I see we've got two on the call. It's tough to be involved in a club leadership role from the get-go, like secretary, as was mentioned by, I think that's the one that Ziad left out. But as a secretary, rather start with fulfilling a role like an R counter or a timer, just to get used to the flow of the meeting. And once you've built your confidence, you go to table topics, master, and then eventually graduate yourself to be the Toastmaster of the day. Then other encouragement for the members on the call is to visit other clubs to sort of like benchmark to see how they are doing it. And then based on that, you sort of adapt your style to fit into what is required. So at this stage in time, I'd like to offer an opportunity for questions. Todd? I'll be very disappointed if you don't have a question, Todd. Let's go to Michael first.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I'm still so I've been here with Toastmasters for a little bit now, but I'm still kind of new to the types of events that happen. So like I've heard from my other club, there's something that they do called BTAC, which is like a competition of like Toastmasters competition. Do we have things like that in the Africa area as well? Or anything else other than that?
So besides thank you so much, Michael. Besides the speech contest that happens between January and February, what some clubs have is that they have an internal speech competition, where if you have, as an example, 10 new members, then you basically just have an evening of icebreakers or an evening of level 1 speeches, and that sort of helps to reach the club goals, because each club has specific goals that they have to meet, and that also adds different dynamics to the club. I do know that in our club sometimes they have a funky hat themed evening, and the person with the best hat sort of wins a prize, or the theme of that evening. All speeches has to align to that particular theme, even your table topics. So I think on a lower level, those are some of the things that sits out there. And Estelle, I forgot the name of the book, but there's a book that speaks about how to have creative meetings. I know one of the more established Toastmasters have shared that with me Karen Strauss, they shared that with me in training a few years ago. But there's all these resources available, Michael, that sort of like helps you to navigate through the process.
Okay, but I mean, I'm more asking towards is there any like inter-club activities or competitions at some point in the year?
Definitely happen at area level. Yes.
Sorry, there is clubs that do debates. They compete against each other. If you would like to join something like that, it's a debate club. There's one debate club. And then there are other normal Toastmasters clubs that do a debate once a year. The one that I had earlier this year was, should pineapple be allowed on pizza? That was amazing.
Nice.
So you are more than welcome to join. The club is TAG. It's an advanced club. You're welcome to join them and have a debate with them. I know of that. I don't know of any other specific things that you were speaking about now. I know of the debate.
Okay,
If there's something you'd like to start, Michael, I'm behind you. I have your back. If you'd like to start it, I'm with you. Invite me.
And Estelle,
we'll see. Thank you.
It also depends on the area director. I do know that in our time, we sort of had an inter-club, as you said, Michael. I think it was a word contest or something, but that's outside of the meeting times then.
Sorry, can we just have one question more, and then we really need to close in the interest of
Sure.
everyone's time.
Tony.
Yes, my question is that, do you need to be at a particular level in order to participate in a meeting role such as evaluator, for an example? Because I would assume that a meeting role like that one would require some level of experience.
Thank you so much. You constructive questions. I feel like I'm busy with my thesis this evening. So to your question, and specifically regarding evaluator, on level 1, your fourth project, or I think you do icebreaker, your first speech, your second speech, which is an improvement. And then right after that, you do evaluator. So you have to complete that project where you evaluate someone, and then you also have someone that evaluates you. So essentially, right after that, you are basically cleared to also then do evaluations. You'll also find that when someone comes with a bit of experience into a club, the VPE or the president would call on them to say, assist us with evaluations, but that would mostly be for your icebreakers or intro speeches. Thank you so much, Cloney. And then finally, Mimi.
Oh, just a quick one. I just want to find out, Debate Club, it's a separate entity, or it's part of Toastmasters Club, or it's another club?
It's
Is
a
it part of
Toastmaster
Toastmaster?
Club. Yes, it's a
Oh,
Toastmaster.
it's part of Toastmaster.
Caterpillar
Oh,
Debate
okay.
Club, yes.
And they exclusively meet online every second Tuesday. Caterpillar Debate Club. They are based in Pretoria. And
Thank
Mimi, if you
you.
are interested, I can send you the number of the.
No, I'm still in grade R, not now.
No,
In
but
terms
you
of
see,
public speaking.
it's very useful to just go sit and listen there. So,
Yeah, it is.
not to participate, really just to listen.
Oh.
Final comment from my side, Estelle, is that I've learned so much just from listening to people's speeches, getting overwhelmed by the speeches, and then the evaluation comes. Then I'm like, did I listen to a different speech? Because this is crazy. So that is the beauty of Toastmasters. You also listen, or learn rather, through listening. Thank you so much.
Great.
Stuart, you're welcome to WhatsApp Estelle, and then we'll share the details with you. So thank you so much, Estelle. I'll hand over to you for the closing, and then we can hang around still if there's people with technical issues for about 5-10 minutes.
Everybody, if you can please unmute and just give Gerald a great big applause. Woo-hoo!
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate this. It was very helpful.
Thank you
very much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Before
please
you
do
go,
join
before
the
you go,
WhatsApp
before you
group.
go, please, before you go, can we take a picture of our very first meeting? If you would like to be on, I would love to take a picture. I will share it on the WhatsApp group. Oh, look at all the beautiful people showing now. Where have you guys been? Can you imagine how broad Gerald's smile would have been the entire time? Man.
Of course.
I see we have 2 pages of people. So I'm going to take a picture of the first page. So ready to smile? Pinky, ready to smile? There you go. And okay, so this is the Facebook smile. So it's going to be on Facebook for the next 500 years. So you have to smile very, very. No, I'm not going to put it on Facebook. I lied. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1. Great stuff. So this is the first page, my first page. And now I'm going to go over to the second page. And there we go. Justine, you're on the second page. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
So
you,
we have
Estelle.
Thank you.
we have a WhatsApp group if you guys would like to join it. We're going to put all our ads for the future on that group. If we find there's a lot of people that needs to know more about effective evaluation or more about meeting roles or something like that, we can schedule another meeting during the month to just focus on that. If you know of any new members who just need some guidance, please send them to us. We would love to help everyone. And with that, I would like to say thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again next month. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Estelle.
Bye.
Much.
And Lillian, yes, you have a
Thank-
question.
Yes, I'm VPE, so I came to learn more about what new members need and want because I've got to give them the information. I've got a new member and she's a mother, and this is crazy hour. If anybody's a mother, they know that this is the time that you feed the kids, you bath the kids, you do the homework. So I told her to register so that she would get the link to the training. Will you be giving the link to the training out to the people that have registered, and how